Hello and welcome to this live broadcast of this WNBL D1 matchup of Endeavour Ipswich Basketball, who face the Manchester Mystics on their home court. We're at the Manchester Basketball Centre. It's going to be a good one. Ipswich currently stand tied first place. Manchester currently stand at 7th. We recently saw Ipswich win the National Cup final, defeating Brent at National Basketball Forum Centre, also Manchester. When we saw these two sides face up last season, it was a different story when Ipswich came to Manchester. When Manchester went to Ipswich, it was quite a large margin. The score was quite a wide one. It wasn't really a close game. When Ipswich came up to Manchester, it was within single digits at one point, so it'll be a good one. When Ipswich played Manchester this season, it was kind of a similar story to the last, won by quite a large margin. But again, Ipswich have had to travel from quite a long distance, so it'll be an interesting one. Before the game, I caught up with Ipswich assistant coach Tom Kelly, and I got his thoughts on the game. Thanks, Kaz. So yeah, I'm here now courtside with Ipswich assistant coach Tom Kelly. So Tom, it seems like only a couple of weeks ago I was catching up with your head coach Nick Drain about your Cup Finals victory. How was that Cup Finals win? How's it been in Ipswich since that win?
Yeah, really good. I mean, it's just a case of sort of keeping that momentum going. We obviously started that game really well. It's obviously the offense that gets all of the highlights, but it was really from our defense and how well we played on that end of the floor. So it's credit to the girls, and they're just keeping that going, which is really positive.
Yeah, so you said it was your defense that won you that game, and it does tend to be that defense wins the game. So today, going into this game, what are you thinking of? Has it been a really defensive focus coming in and preparing for it, or has it been kind of an offensive focus?
We sort of try and cover all bases, but like we say, everything comes from our defense, so it's dialing that end of the floor in, and then it allows us to play so free on the offensive end.
Yeah, so last season when you guys came to Manchester, it was a pretty close game, especially considering what the score was when you guys were at home. How have you been able to prep for this game today, and what's kind of been the main focus points?
We do try and not overcomplicate it, give the girls a little bit of video, a little bit to focus on, sort of keep it nice and simple, not try and give them too much, and then just mainly focus on what we're doing and getting that side of things right. Yeah,
so kind of looking forward to the future now. Next weekend you got Brent. Obviously you guys beat them a couple of weeks ago on the court, but when you played them in the league, they actually beat you. So what are your thoughts going ahead to next weekend for that game?
Yeah, well, I think the Cup is obviously such a good win. We played so well, so it will just be a case of trying to replicate our start and how we played that game that weekend.
Yeah, cool. Thanks for taking the time to speak to me today, and good luck in the game. I hope all goes well.
Thanks so much. Cheers. Cheers.
Thanks, guys. So I'm here now courtside with Manchester Mystics player Remy Endeavour. So Remy, it's been an interesting season. It was a better start to the last season. We're mid-table, kind of 7th, still in playoff contention. What are your thoughts so far?
I think the season, anyone can win. We've had loads of games during the season where teams have beat other teams where you think that's not supposed to happen because they're at the bottom of the table, but they've still come out and done that. And we've done that. We've had a couple close games where we've lost in overtime, or 2 lost in overtime, or we've come neck and neck and lost in the 4th quarter. So I think it's anyone's game at this point.
Yeah, so you mentioned that a lot of games are lost in the final minutes of the game. There's been a couple of overtime losses. There's been losses in the last 2 minutes where people have come down from a 10-point deficit. What do you think the main reason is for this? Do you think it's kind of to do with the fact that we've got quite a young squad, a young core? Do you think it's just lack of communication on the court? What do you think the main factor is in that?
I think it's down to composure with us because we haven't been in that situation many times. So this season we've been in that situation a lot more, and it's like if it's your first time experiencing it, you may not have a cool head as you do, but now we've gone over it a couple of times. Hopefully we're all set now and it's not going to happen again.
Yeah, so as you said, that this season is kind of anyone's game. You don't know who's going to win. I mean, look at the table. There's 3 people who are tied for top place, so it says it all really. But looking at last season now, when we played Ipswich away, it was a pretty rough score. They won by quite a large margin. When we played them at home, however, it was quite a different story. It was quite a close game. We did quite well, kind of bring it in within like single digits at one point. How do you expect us to play today against these, knowing that?
Well, we played them 3 times up until now, so we're hoping to do the same thing we did last time they came down to us, beat them, work hard and press and set up, so yeah.
Yeah, so kind of final point is, Ipswich, kind of synonymous with using a zone press. How do you think Manchester Mystics play against the zone?
So I would say play better than last season because a lot of teams surprisingly play a zone. So we've had a lot of time to work on it. Obviously in practices we're working on it too, so we're ready.
Hoping that today's going to go well?
I really hope so.
All right, cool. Thanks for taking time to speak to me today, Remy. Hope all goes well in the game.
Thanks,
Isha. Ishania there with assistant coach for Ipswich, Tom Kelly, and Manchester Mystics, Remy Endeavour. Kaz Bullock here, and me and Ishania are going to take you through the game, which is due to tip off in around 4 minutes' time. Now, before we do tip off, we're going to have a minute's silence for the 4 young people from the University of Essex who tragically passed away recently. Our thoughts and condolences go out to everybody affected by the tragedy in Essex recently. So Isha, really good for you to catch up with Tom Kelly and Remy Aidu before the game. So as you mentioned before, last time these teams faced off, this time last year, it was a very close game. Ipswich, you know, have been a dominant force throughout the season, but Manchester played them really close last time. And are we expecting something similar this time?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully. Well, both sides, I mean, it's been a whole season. Both sides have come along. I mean, Ipswich, they're slightly different. They've got a few of the same players, obviously, like Harriet Wellham, Louisa Gibbons. But other than that, they've got quite a few young people. They've got Maisie Keys. Looking at Manchester as well, I mean, quite a few additions from there as well. For the likes of Kizzy Spence, we've got Shona Williams, Michelle Ortega. There's quite a few. So there's no real telling of what's going to happen here today. Could be the same, similar stories to last season. Could be slightly different, but we won't know until it tips off, really.
So last time these two teams met, it was in November in Ipswich. Ipswich winning that one 80-51. Harriet Wellham went off and had 30 points, but that's a standard game for Harriet Wellham this season, isn't it? She's just been incredible.
Yeah, I mean, Harriet Wellham, she's been a great player. Her stats are insane. I mean, she just recently, a couple weeks ago, she got the MVP for the cup final. She's leading WNBL Division 1 in points scored. She's a great player. You just know you can rely on her. You know she's going to drop however many points she has a game. It's just, yeah, it's expected from this point. But also, if you're going to play 40 minutes a game, and a player like her, you kind of expect her to drop them some kind of stats.
Yeah, and she sets very high standards for herself. And then looking at Manchester, so they're led in scoring by Ellie Costa, one of the young players on the squad, 11.5 points per game. She was also the WEABL Player of the Week this week and had a ridiculous 22 points and 11 steals.
Yeah, 11 steals is insane. I mean, it just kind of tells the story of what this Manchester defense brings. It's quite intense. I mean, if you look at WNBL Division 1 stats as well, she was on the top 5. Rohana Khalil was also on the top 5. It's just kind of that defense that we want to bring up in their face, tough on the ball, obviously trying to get them interceptions. But yeah, it'll be an interesting matchup because obviously we know Ipswich, they play a zone. That Ipswich zone press, I mean, everyone kind of goes on about it, but it's tough. It's tough to break, so we'll see what happens here today.
And I think it's interesting, isn't it? Because Ipswich, a high-scoring, very fast-paced team. Manchester, a bit of a gritty, defensive-minded team. They have the second-best defence in the league, holding teams to 58.9 points per game. Ipswich coming in averaging 80 points a game, and Manchester 62.6. So it's kind of one of those defence meets offence games, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll be really interested. I mean, Ipswich, yeah, they've got great scorers. I mean, with this Manchester team as well, we have people who can score and get stats like that, but also the scoring is shared around quite a bit. I mean, obviously you've got the likes of Rahana Khalil, she could go off. Irene Abodo, she could go off. Ellie Costa, like you said. We've also got strong people coming off the bench. I mean, if you look at Kizzy Spence, who came in the off-season, who else? Michelle Ortega. Any of these players can get scores, so it'll be interesting to see.
Kizzy Spence for me is just a spark plug off the bench. Every time she comes on, she just lights it up from behind the three-point line.
Yeah, she just brings that energy.
So teams coming on court, ready to tip off. Manchester playing in red today and Ipswich in blue. Starting for Ipswich, it will be Maisie Keys, Kerry Sleech, Harriet Wellham, Louisa Gibbons and Maddie Wormold. And for Manchester, Ellie Costa, Michelle Ortega, Irene Abodo, Nat Furtado and Rahana Khalil. So first possession goes to Manchester. And it's Costa. Ortega, she's bumped and manages to keep the ball in the hands of Manchester. Khalil with time running down, that's going to be short. So ball goes the way of Ipswich. And Maisie Keys handling the ball for Ipswich. We mentioned it before, Isha, but she was with Manchester, came up through the Mystics, making the move down to Ipswich as Kerry Sleech hands off, nice pass under the hoop. Wormold can't finish but fights for the rebound. Manchester come up with it. Ortega, Khalil, Costa finds Abodo in the corner. Out to Costa. Driving that scoop layup, it's good.
Great finish there from Ellie Costa. I mean, we know she can make that shot. We know she can get them finishes. We'll see what happens today.
And an interception as Ortega can't get it to go. Abodo's shot won't, but she's got the ball and it's a jump ball.
Yeah, what a rebound to force that jump ball. I mean, Irene Abodo, what a great athleticism. She's just showcasing it there.
Irene leads the team in rebounds per game with 8.1. She's just such an exceptional player for someone her age as well. She just keeps continuing to get better season by season. Was representing GB last summer, and it's just a phenomenal talent to have out there.
Yeah, all she needs to do is kind of sort out her fouls a bit. Sometimes she can get a bit of foul trouble. Hopefully she doesn't today. We'll see what happens.
As Costa driving all the way. And Wellham with the rebound, gets it over to Leach. Oh, Wormold all alone under the hoop.
That was poor from Manchester, leaving her wide open like that. But she should be finishing that. Wide open under the basket.
Manchester getting lucky there as Costa in the corner. Too strong, but an offensive board for Manchester. And that's something that we want to see from Manchester throughout this game, isn't it? The second chance points, those offensive rebounds, something they've maybe not been too strong with throughout the season, but if they can get into a good rhythm with that, that's going to help.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, another thing that does stand out is once they do have that offensive rebound, is just kind of taking the ball back out, kicking it out, and kind of slowing it down, trying to run an offense. Running offenses has been kind of been a weak point for Manchester this season, so yeah, hopefully this game they can do that a little bit better.
Wellham's shot won't go, and it's picked up by Ortega.
Great box out from Nat Furtado there.
Nat Furtado loves boxing out.
She does.
Hannah Alty would be very proud. Abodo hands it off to Costa. Khalil in the corner. Ortega finding some space. Passes back out to Furtado. 1 second on the shot clock. Has to put it up. And that's 2 possessions now. Ipswich have been able to get the shot clock to run down and force Manchester into a difficult shot. As Keys in the corner. Hers won't go. But Leach kicks it out to Wellham. 3-time National Cup MVP Harriet Wellham hands off to Keys, and Maisie Keys ties the game at 2. Ipswich picking up full court here. Furtado has Ortega. Costa. Abodo, 6 seconds on the shot clock. Ortega. Khalil in the corner will try a 3. Not that time.
Another great defensive play from Ipswich there. I mean, forcing them to Manchester to almost another 24-second violation. Although there hasn't been any called yet, but they're just forcing them to get that shot off literally at the right at the last second.
It's just close enough, isn't it? So Ortega will set things up. Costa.
Oh, thought she was going to have a go there.
It looked like she was. Ortega, she's blocked by Keys. And ball will go with Ipswich.
Yeah, great defensive effort again there from Ipswich.
And we saw Louisa Gibbons there, Isha. So she is 4th in Division 1 in points per game, 7th in rebounds, and 8th in three-point shooting percentage. She's just a player that really can just do a bit of everything. She's be getting in on the assist action as well.
Yeah, great player to watch. Still quite young as well. I mean, she's still playing EABL. Had a few player of the weeks in, WABL. Had quite a few player of the weeks there. See if she can light up today.
And on cue, there she does.
Could have been any more perfect that timing.
And when you've got a big like Louisa Gibbons who can shoot from outside but also is really dominant inside, it makes her a really difficult player to come up against, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely, because it's like one aspect of it is, yes, she's inside, you want a big mark in her so she can't post them up, get them easy scores, but at the same time you don't want someone who's a true big to be marking when she can light up on the three-point line and just go straight past you. So
she's a problem. As Manchester looks to break the press, Furtado off the glass, doesn't go. And it's a 5-point Ipswich lead here in the first quarter. Gibbons to Wellham. Wellham spinning against the Bodo. What a pass! And Gibbons finishes off the glass. And we'll have a timeout called. So a 7-2. Should that be 9?
Yeah, but basically they can't add on the 9 till the timeout's finished. Yeah.
Is that? I've learned something new today.
Yeah, perks of being a table official, you know, all the inside knowledge.
You're a very busy woman, Isha. Like, you do interviews, you do your media, you do your table, you're coaching as well.
Yeah, I've been known to get around.
So a 7-point lead for Ipswich here early on. And you see Ipswich putting on that press, being able to intercept the ball and just clinically finish at the rim.
Yeah, I mean, that Ipswich press, we knew coming this into the game. Everyone knows when they're going to play Ipswich that they're going to run that press, that zone press. It works really well. It's worked quite effectively here. But when Manchester have been able to break the press, Ipswich have been able to get back into their defence, force Manchester to, there's been 3 or 4 almost 24-second violations here. So they're really restricting Manchester on what they can do.
I mean, there's a reason, isn't there, that Ipswich are sitting at the top of the table with 11 wins and 3 losses. As we said, a very high-scoring team, very fast-paced. Lead the league in points per game, lead the league in points scored from fast breaks with just under 20, and are dominant on the glass with 44.2 rebounds per game. So pretty much every category, they're very good at, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, you just know that Ipswich, in women's basketball in this country, you just know, I mean, they've got a great academy program, even at WNBL Division 1, they've been a dominant force for a long time. So, I mean, people do say little old Ipswich, but geographically they might be small. In basketball, they're not. They're a powerhouse. They really are.
They are a basketball powerhouse. As back on court, Kizzy Spence into the game for the first time for Manchester. Her shot is no good, but she manages to save it. It's into the hands of Wormald though, but great hustle from Spence. And into the corner. Shot doesn't go for Leach. Chased down by Odin Wingy. And the ball's loose. Odin Wingy racing down the court for that ball. As Wellham, her 3 rims out, gets her own rebound and finds Gibbons in the corner. Leach for 3, no good, but Keris Leach is a very dangerous 3-point shooter. That's someone that Manchester need to look out for on the 3-point line. Spence, hers doesn't go for Manchester, and we got a jump ball called. As Keris Leach is going to take a seat. And Holly Ensel into the game for the first time for Ipswich.
Another young talent from Ipswich, but also plays under 18s.
Yeah, there's a lot of players for Ipswich that we saw out at the National Cup final in the senior game, but also we're playing in the under 18s game on Saturday as well.
Yeah, busy weekend for an Ipswich fan that. Also a mixture of emotions for an Ipswich fan that weekend.
It was, wasn't it? A loss on the Saturday at the under 18s, but then a big win on the Sunday in the seniors. And as a younger player like that, Isha, how important is it for players to be able to get that experience at the under-18 level, but then also play in the senior team?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, not just the playing experience, but also experience with other players. I mean, yes, you're playing against more physical players. It'll toughen you up a bit. You kind of learn more. You have to play more high IQ basketball. But then from just being around other players, older players, more veteran players. I mean, when I was 18, I was playing with the likes of Rohana Khalil, Nat Furtado, Hannah Olty. When you're playing with players like that, it's just great to see kind of their perspective on the game, how they treat it, just kind of getting that experience on the court.
Boado with a big block. Sorry to cut you off.
No worries. Big block there from Irina Boado.
Odin Wingy goes in and it spins out. As Maisie Keys kicks it to the corner. Wormold for three. And Boado, look how high Irina Boado jumps off the floor. She's got Costa way up ahead, well and chasing down. But an easy two for Ellie Costa.
Yeah, I mean, Irina Boado, she can, if the ball gets stuck, if there's ever a wedgie, she can jump up and hit it out. So that says enough about athleticism.
As Louisa Gibbons powers away inside. And Louisa Gibbons had a really strong start to the game.
Yeah, 5 points already for a 50% shooting. Great start from her.
Costa lines up a three, knocks it down. It's a big shot from Ellie Costa, brings Manchester back within 4. Gibbons, Wormold meets Idowu, back to Gibbons, spinning inside and puts it in. And it's that spin move from Louisa Gibbons. I feel like we've seen that throughout the years, but she's just so effective at getting to the basket. Yeah, she can just read and feel where the defense is. I mean, that defensive play from Manchester there, someone did it, Wormold, great backdoor court, but then Remy Adowu came across with the help, but then again, Louisa Gibbons, that pass from Harriet Wellham, they're just on the same page, Ipswich, really. They're very in sync, and again, that probably helps with the play in the WEABL, having played under 18s. Louisa Gibbons, not under 18s at the moment, but you know, when players have come through the academy level together and come through the program together, you mesh really well, don't you? Yeah, definitely. I mean, you can see that with some of the players on Manchester as well. When you play in the age groups of people, you're training every day with them, you see them all the time, and you kind of do just end up being on the same page. So 6-point deficit for Manchester. Costa looking for the short runner. I've lost for words. That was just looked like it forced its way in. Not gonna lie, I missed that shot. It was she was sort of stepping through, then put a little floater and it just like popped in. Not complaining. She can do it again and I'll describe it better. Yeah. Again, cuts the lead down to 4, a 13-9 lead for Ipswich here in the first quarter. Just under 2 minutes to play. So it's Ipswich ball from the sideline. Hannah Gray will inbound. Gibbons back to Gray. Gibbons backing down Oda Wingy. There's that spin move. Ensel's there to try and clean it up. She'll get the foul call, and that will put Holly Ensel at the line for 2. I mean, just then, since we've said about Louisa Gibbons, she can just do everything, who do you want marking, she's just shown so many examples of that then. I mean, she hit that three-pointer, she did that spin move before, and just then she went and posted up. So it looks at the moment that Manchester can't find the right person to guard her. It's difficult as well, isn't it? Because Manchester with a slight height disadvantage perhaps this season. They haven't got maybe too many bigs playing inside. I mean, they've got the bigs, but height-wise they can be a little bit outmatched sometimes. Ensel at 6'6", definitely has a height advantage out there on the court as she gets the second to go. 2 of 2 from the line for Ensel. It's Spence for the Mystics, racing inside. Good ball movement from Manchester. As Idowu passes to Costa, and that floater banks it in. Beautiful shot there. Karina Costa into the game with a almost identical move to her sister. Yeah, I suppose twin telepathy is true then. Gray to Gibbons. Back to Gray. Ensel. As well, I'm outside. Shot clock running down, 3 seconds, and ball's knocked out of bounds. Stays with Ipswich, and it will be 4 seconds on the shot clock. I think Nat Furtado is the type of player that
the type of defensive intensity that she brings is really important in this game.
It's as well important, isn't it, for Manchester not to kind of get to it. It can be difficult when you've got someone like Louisa Gibbons who's been very dominant inside, not to kind of then flip to play in the way Ipswich want you to play. You still need to keep playing your game.
Yeah, 100%. But I think if you put Nat on Louisa, because Nat Furtado is very good at marking bigs, but she can also move on her feet really well. I mean, she can on-ball defense, if you catch it outside, she can move her feet, she can close out, stop the three-pointers. I honestly believe that she's the perfect person to mark Louisa Gibbons currently. If you look at who else is on for Ipswich, I mean, you've got Holly Ensel there. Remy Doe is currently on. She's a good matchup for Holly Ensel as well, because whilst Holly Ensel's big, she tries to make the post moves, but she doesn't like the physical contact. We saw that in the National Cup final, under-18s National Cup final, where Cola's bigs matched up quite well against her. She didn't really like that physicality.
Definitely. So a 4-point Ipswich lead, just over a minute to play in the first quarter. So back on court, Ipswich ball. Gray. Gibbons round to Wellham. Wellham at the end of the clock banks it in! Harriet Wellham threw up a prayer and it went in.
Did she call bank though? Did she call bank?
Doesn't count if she didn't. Costa to Costa in the corner. Boado. Costa round to Idowu. Good ball movement here from Manchester. Long pass over to Costa, 5 seconds on the shot clock. Costa in the corner, three is nothing but net.
Yeah, great shot there. Just a few issues with the scoreboard, the live scoreboard.
Oh, they've put it, I was going to say, look like they've not put Harriet's crazy bank shot on, but they have. So,
but she didn't call bank.
They waited for her to run back and shout it. Oh, and a miscommunication on the pass there. Forces a turnover for Manchester, and it'll give Ipswich the ball with 11.2 left in the quarter. And we can see Maddie Wormold coming into the game, and that's a sign, isn't it? Maddie Wormold into the game. She's a knockdown three-point shooter, so you've got to think Ipswich are maybe going to look to get her the ball to take the last shot of the quarter.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we spoke about players who could do everything. I feel like Maddie Wormold is also another one of them. I mean, the other week, her stat line for Player of the Week, she was double digits for points. She was also had 22 rebounds, something ridiculous like that. So another player to watch out for.
6 seconds, Wormold, 5 seconds. Time running down, Wellham puts it up. No good. And at the end of the first quarter, it's an 18-14 Ipswich lead over Manchester. Isha, who's been knocking down the shots for Ipswich? I'm going to say it's Louisa Gibbons leading the way.
Yeah, Louisa Gibbons currently leading the way with 9 points on 66% shooting. I mean, we said before she can get them shots down, she can sink them, but when she does score high, her shot percentage is still relatively high. But we've seen her make the spin move. She's had quite a few layups, so it's kind of understandable. Then if we take a look at Manchester, Alessandra Costa, again 9 points on 66% field goal. So no one really, apart from them two, no one really leading the way. Harriet Wellham's kind of, for her, it's a slow start, only 5 points. Also for Manchester.
I feel like every time anybody says that about Harriet Wellham, when we say, oh, she's, for her it's a slow start, she then seems to, something switches and she goes, okay, I'm going to drop 20 in the next quarter.
Yeah, similar story in the cup final, wasn't it? I mean, I think Maisie Key started off that game brilliantly. She scored like 14 points out of the 16, was it that Ipswich had 17?
Maybe, but it was 14 points in the first quarter for Maisie
which is
alone.
A ridiculous start. And then, yeah, everyone was like, oh, Harriet's a bit quiet. Then she goes and gets MVP, 30-odd points. So, yeah, it'll be interesting.
So for Manchester here, what do they want to try and do coming out of this this quarter break?
Try and just find the gaps to attack off offense, because they've done a pretty decent job at breaking the Ipswich press. No, actually, no, they've done a good job at breaking the Ipswich press. They're getting it down, but the ball's kind of sticking. They're just passing it around 3-point line. Someone needs to look to actually drive. When we are driving, jump stop, passing it out. We're kind of not looking to go to the basket. It's almost like we're driving to pass the ball. So someone needs to kind of just take charge, be aggressive, actually go to the basket, because nine times out of 10 it's going to be a foul.
So back underway for the second quarter. It's Wellham with the ball. Back to Wellham, Wormold. Tough pass inside to Gibbons. Good defense there from Idowu. As Abodo has Costa up ahead. Abodo goes all the way, can't get it to go, but rebound for Tardo. And it'll be Manchester ball from the sideline.
Referee Ben Hutchinson there with all the great calls.
Furtado can't save it in.
Bit of a dodgy pass.
You can see what they were going for.
Yeah, you can see the vision. I feel like we could say that about a lot of players though at the same time.
So Gibbons are intercepted, but Ipswich pick it up, and Wormold, short jumper's no good, but another offensive board for Ipswich. Ball's kind of flying all over the place, and it's Wellham that comes away with it and loses it.
Oh no.
And Costa has it, but it looks like we've got an injury on the court as Wellham took a hard fall underneath the hoop. And that's not what you want to see at all, as her teammates go and help to pick her up. So hopefully she's just taken a bit of a knock there. It looked like just a slightly awkward fall, but we hope she's doing okay. Such a really important part of this team, and it'll just give both teams a chance to catch their breath as Maisie Keys gets ready to check in.
Yeah, she looked in a lot of pain when she went down there.
I mean, Harriet Wellham is a tough cookie, isn't she? So let's see if we see her come back on later on, but we hope she's okay. And Maisie Keys into the game. So we spoke a bit earlier, Isha, but Maisie coming up through the Manchester Academy made the move down to Ipswich this year, and she's been having a really strong season in her first season in Division 1.
Yeah, she's been cooking down there. I mean, great player, came all the way. She's been with Manchester for ages. I mean, when I was under 12, she was under 12. So, I mean, that kind of puts it into perspective a little bit. Also, side note, great play of sportsmanship, as they say here.
That was very good, yeah, when Harriet Wellham went down, the Manchester calling for her to be seen to.
Yeah, and then Ipswich inbounded it and just kind of gave it back to Manchester. But anyway, back to Maisie Keys. Yeah.
She's great.
She is, yeah, she's brilliant. I mean, yeah, no, she's been doing brilliantly. I mean, that in WABL, yeah, she's been smashing out the park. Same with 18s, but also having an impact on women's. I mean, we literally just said before about how in that cup final game, 14 points in the first quarter.
She was absolutely, as Louisa Gibbons blocks Abodo, but she was unstoppable in that first quarter, wasn't she? And this season so far, averaging 11 points per game, 3.3 rebounds and 3.6 assists, and that's good for 10th in the entire league in assists in her first D1 season. So, you know, she's putting her stamp on the league.
Yeah, she really is, just showing what she can do. It's a good move for her.
So Wormold for Ipswich can get to the basket. Finds the cut in Gray. Gray going against Costa. Good D there from Costa, but what a pass to Casey underneath. Can't finish, but again, Gray picks it up 1 second, has to put something up, and ball didn't hit the rim, so shot clock didn't reset.
We've seen that offense quite a bit from Ipswich today, so they're getting the ball in that low post, and they've just got that little bounce pass behind them from the cutting person coming round. They got some success of it before, but I think Manchester are looking to put a stop to that here.
So Manchester got a chance here to cut this to a single possession game. Abodo to Ortega. Abodo in the corner, lines up a three. No good. Gibbons with the rebound. Gibbons. Good D there from Furtado. You can see Nat Furtado causes problems inside. She just gets in the way, I like to describe her as doing. That's my defensive tactic for Nat Furtado. Get in the way.
Yeah, she just She can just mark anyone, really.
Yeah, and she's, as you said before, like she's not bothered if she's outsized. She's gonna absolutely go for it.
Yeah, always. I mean, just the likes of her, and then I'd say Rohani Khalil as well. Them two defensively, that's the impact that they have off the bench. It's not, especially not Furtado. I'd say the stats kind of don't do her justice, because defensive stats, I mean, some of them are there, but just the impact they have coming on the court, bringing the intensity, just all around effort from them. It's just the stat sheet doesn't say.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the JLC, the Joe Leadham column that we like to call it, the effort that you put in that doesn't show up on the stat sheet. As Manchester again a chance to cut this to a single possession game. Costa finds Furtado. Furtado looking to pass out of it. Long pass over to Costa. Costa stepping through, rejected by Gibbons. And Louisa Gibbons is second in Division 1 in blocks per game, and you can see why. She just gave you a perfect example of why she is.
I know, yeah, she's like, I'm having a bit of that. I mean, already she's got, that's the second block, yeah.
But we're like 13 minutes into the game, so.
Yeah. I mean, no, for like girls, but women's basketball, that's quite a lot already.
4 seconds on the shot clock. Furtado out to Costa. Costa has to put it up. That'll be good if it goes. It doesn't. But a big rebound from Irina Bozo. Can't finish at the rim. And it's like Manchester doing that hard work, getting those offensive rebounds and just not being able to close it out.
I know, that was an amazing rebound. I mean, every time she goes up for rebound, she just shows that amazing athleticism that she has. Literally just leaps out. You can just see her hand over everyone else's, but just can't finish. As you said, does do all the hard work, but just can't get it to go.
And 3 won't go for Ipswich as Casey can't connect. As Ortega inbounds to Spence. Ipswich picking up full court. Ortega needs some help here. Teammates need to go to her. And it'll be a jump ball called.
I think that's the first time that we've seen the Mystics struggle against the Ipswich zone press here today. They've been, can't remember what I was going to say. Oh, well.
It'll come back to you.
Yeah.
It'll come back to you.
Yeah, hopefully. They've been moving the ball around well and breaking the press very well so far. That was just kind of the first instance of it not working. But
there we've got an 8-second violation.
Yep, jump ball, so it was held on 17, it must have been.
So again, a relatively low-scoring game so far by Ipswich's standards, perhaps a little bit for Manchester. They haven't been scoring as much this season as usual, but as I said, a gritty defensive team. So as Leach keeps control of it, Keys to Wellham. 3 seconds, Wellham against the Bodo. Wellham out to Wormald. Wormald puts it up at the buzzer. Won't go, and that was a tough shot for Ipswich to get it off in time. But Spence racing down the court, hanging in the air. And Louisa Gibbons with yet another rebound.
Yeah, I mean, she's been cleaning up the bus today. She's currently on 5 rebounds. No, she's not. She's on 3, never mind. Harriet Wellham is on 4 rebounds, yeah.
It's a lot. They've both had a lot.
Yeah.
So a foul called there on, it looks to be on Aboado, which would be her second. And just the first team foul for Manchester this quarter.
Yeah, quite a low foul counting game. There's not really been too many fouls, especially considering, as we say, Manchester are a scrappy team.
But in a way, is this a kind of game now at the moment that is suited to Manchester, having maybe kept Ipswich a little bit under their average at the moment?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when you see Ipswich scores, you expect them to get at least in the 80s, 90s, and they do pretty much every week consistently score that much. But yeah, as you say, this is definitely, in terms of looking at it from Ipswich standards, the ball is currently in Manchester's park, even though they're down.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense as Furtado rolls to the rim and banks it in. Oh, what a bullet pass to the corner from Keys to Wormold. And Gibbons again reaching for the rebound, saved in by Costa, who's diving along the baseline. And Kizzy Spence look to be putting the Jets on as she passes the ball back outside. Ortega against Keys. Ortega fighting her way to the basket, and that is going to put Michelle Ortega at the line for 2. And Ortega so far this season averaging 5.9 points per game, 5.5 rebounds and 3.6 assists. But in her last 3 games since the start of the year, when they played Bristol, then Barking Abbey and Anglia Ruskin, she's doubled her scoring average from the first 12 games and also tripled her efficiency rating. She's been incredible the last 3 games. 10.6 points per game, 6 rebounds, 4.6 assists and 3 steals. She really seems like she's sort of found her footing with the team.
Yeah, she's one of them players. I mean, even today she's not necessarily got off the mark yet, but she's had 4 rebounds already. I mean, for a player of her size, she's not the tallest person, but you just know she's going to be after them boards every single time. And as you say, with the assist as well, really good at finding the open players. Just, interrupted there.
As Maddie Wormel nearly flew out of the gym to save that ball, crashed into, I think we've got some chairs behind those curtains, which seems a little bit hazardous, but she's jumped back up.
Yeah, love for the game, I guess.
That's when you get a bit older and you think, oh, it's a bit risky. I don't know if I'll run for that one. So it's Ipswich ball. So Wormald with a great save as she managed to keep it in. Gets the ball, has Spence on her. Wellham pulls up from the foul line. That's off. It's Khalil back to Ortega. Furtado, and you can see she's making it a bit difficult here for Manchester to get into the paint. You can see them trying to go inside, but they're met by the defense. Ortega's long 3 bounces out. And now Louisa Gibbons must have 5 rebounds.
Yeah, surely. Let's see.
After that last one. As Keys in the corner is swarmed by Rahana Khalil, and the impact of Rahana Khalil out on the court when she's on for Manchester, Isha, she's a fantastic defender. She takes charges. She's a real leader on the team as well, isn't she?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, today she's only been on for 5 minutes, but as we were saying with Napsado before, her impact isn't necessarily seen on the score sheet. Yes, we know she can go and score however many points a game. We know she can hit them threes. We know she can sink them all from the outside the arc, but she can also have that impact on defense. When she isn't lighting up on the 3-point line, she's having that impact down the other side of the floor.
As Ortega puts it in off the glass, and we are tied at 20 all here just before half time. As Leach hands off, and that won't fall. Wellham inside, 3 Manchester players around her. Doesn't get the reverse to go, and Manchester have a chance to take the lead here as Wellham strips the ball, and that will be a foul. And really good to see Harriet Wellham back into the game after taking that fall earlier.
Yeah, as you said, she's a warrior. I think that's what you said anyway.
I mean, she is. We can list a load of things. She's a tough cookie and a warrior.
Oh yeah, tough cookie. That was it.
It's because I'd quite like a cookie if anyone wants to bring me one.
I'd like cookie as well.
If anyone wants to deliver me and Isha some cookies at half time, that'd be great.
We'll shout you out.
So Keys powering down, has Gibbons. Gibbons working away inside, hands off to Ensel, and a walk called. And you can see now, so Gibbons going inside, Manchester dropping back and have those 2 defenders on her.
On who, sorry?
On Gibbons.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
trying to get, so Manchester are sort of forcing, trying to stop Louisa Gibbons and then forcing someone else to score.
Yeah, it's kind of just that person who's on help is kind of, when the ball goes in the post, they're coming across, trying to double it. And yeah, it's actually having some success. They've tried to do that in other games, not been as successful, but now they've started to implement it properly. It looks okay.
So Shona Williams into the game for the first time for the Mystics, alongside Faith Lord, as Ortega passes to Lord. Lord finds space to the hole, spins out, but Williams grabs the rebound, keeps possession for Manchester. It's a big board for Williams. And Spence, her three's off the rim. Ensol fighting for the ball. Ipswich do come up with it.
instant impact from them two coming off the bench there. Really good drive and strong take there from Faith Lord. And Shona Williams was there to clean up the glass. First time, and the second time she almost got the rebound again.
And Lord with the interception gets the ball into Spence's hands. Spence pulls up for the long two, bounces down, and both teams sort of struggling to score at the moment. Like there's a bit of a lid on the basket.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, someone needs to take it off. Will it be Louisa Gibbons?
Let's see, corner three. No, that won't go. And Khalil grabbed the rebound, but a whistle on the play.
What was the call there?
I didn't see that actually because it looked like
Oh,
Khalil
I
just. Oh, we got a,
yeah,
a bit of blood on the floor.
I think so.
Not on the floor, on a person. But they're okay. That makes it sound more dramatic, doesn't it? So we just got a timeout called, and it's 20 all here with 2 minutes, 19 seconds to go in the first half. Which, if you'd said this was the score before the game, I think a lot of people would be quite surprised, Isha.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Ipswich, as we know, they're probably the biggest thing to come out of Ipswich since Thomas Wolsey. If anyone knows who that is, which you probably don't. Just, it's from like Henry VIII, something like that. Anyway, he's from Ipswich. Very niche reference. Cricket reference, if you will. That's the type of people who watch the cricket. But, yeah, Ipswich, I mean, you just know they're a basketball powerhouse. As we said before, I mean, Ipswich, they've won the cup. They won it last year as well. Their academy is just known just to be amazing like that. Manchester, obviously, last season, we were promoted. Still kind of seen as like not a strong, yeah, people don't really see it as a strong team, kind of a mid-table team, but you wouldn't expect top of the table kind of against a mid-table team for this to be the score. I mean, Ipswich have got more shots off. They're currently 8 from 39, where Manchester are 8 from 33. But if we look at the three-point percentage, Manchester have they're 9 shots and made 2, so it's 22%, whereas Ipswich shot 15 threes, 13%, but we expect this Ipswich team to be shooting them threes. They're going to keep trying to shoot them until when they do start making them, they're going to light us up. So
yeah, Ipswich are a volume three-point shooting team. They take a lot and they make a lot, so it works for them.
Yeah.
So back on court, 2:19 to play, 20 all, and Manchester have a chance to take their first lead of the game here, except they did score first, so it'll be their second lead of the game. Costa with a long two, isn't going to go. And Louisa Gibbons just somehow, in amongst everyone, gets the rebound for Ipswich. Keys.
Oh, mismatch, mouse in the house.
Ensol can't finish at the rim. And Costa, she's going to wait for the team to catch up. Ortega driving baseline against Gibbons. Khalil in the corner. Off the rim, but Williams again, another rebound for Shona Williams. And Rana Khalil diving in, knocks the ball out of bounds. But it's those kind of plays that you see from Rahana Khalil. Like Manchester obviously didn't get the ball on that one, but it just forces Ipswich to have to reset rather than get a rebound and quickly run out on the break. Yeah,
because we know Ipswich are a running team as well, so definitely stopped a potential 2 points there.
Keys to Wellham, into Gibbons, Ensol, short jumper, doesn't fall. Ortega to Khalil. Costa, back to Khalil, she's got space for 3, spins out. And Manchester getting some really good looks here, they're just not falling.
Yeah, I mean, the offensive rebound in this game has actually, you can see the efforts there. I mean, 8 offensive rebounds in one half, that's pretty good. But Ipswich do have 10. Not that we expect it from Ipswich, but we kind of do. They've been able to capitalize on better though. So Ipswich have had 6 second chance points, whereas Manchester have none. So whilst they are putting in that effort, they're just not being able to put it away.
And Ortega knocks down the shot and puts Manchester up 2. And a foul called on Lord. Only his 4th team foul this quarter, so Ipswich will let him bound from the sideline. But that's a really key point you made, Isha. So the 6 second chance points for Ipswich, it just shows how fine those margins are. Those offensive rebounds, especially in close games, they're really important.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, sometimes we say 6 points isn't a lot in basketball, but in terms of when we're looking at it from that perspective, second chance points, it is very much a lot in basketball. Definitely a travel there.
And yeah, a travel called.
There you go. Referee Ben Hutchinson there, holding his hand up, waiting that split second just for all the dramas, then calling the travel.
So 36 seconds in the quarter. Ortega hands it off to Khalil. Ortega thought about the shot, goes inside. Williams with a short jumper. Not that time. And a long pass over to Gibbons. Costa racing down on defense, but good stance there from Ellie Costa, who really disrupted the shot for Gibbons.
Yeah, did a really good job there to put that pressure on, because you can see there's quite a significant height advantage there, but you're still able to put that pressure on and stop her from converting.
So 16.5 seconds, 14 on the shot clock. And Khalil again just knocking the ball out of bounds. So Spence comes into the game, Lord heads to the bench. And 13 seconds on the shot clock, 15 on the game clock. So Ipswich go again to inbound. Keys has Wellen with the floater. We're tied at 22. Spence racing down the court, hangs in the air, too strong. Khalil with the rebound. Out to Ortega. Ortega's three, nothing but net. And at the end of the first half, Manchester go up 3 on that buzzer beater by Ortega, 25-22. A very, very low scoring first half, Isha, but definitely something that seems to have worked in Manchester's favour so far.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we spoke before Ipswich. Yeah, we can speak all day about Ipswich. Everyone knows who they are. Everyone knows what they're like. But yes, they're a high-scoring team. Even though Manchester have been down for most of this game, it still works in their favour because I can't remember what I was going to say. Yeah, it still works in Manchester's favour because yes, they might be down, but they're restricting that total from Ipswich. They're keeping it at a reachable amount. And yeah, as we can see now, Manchester are going into the third quarter, 3 points up. And just as we were speaking about not being able to convert on second chance points, Veronica Leo goes in for the rebound, kicks it out to Michelle Ortega, and she hits that three to end the quarter. So.
Yeah, so Ipswich, their biggest lead of the game was 7 earlier on, and Manchester now with their biggest lead of the game at 25-22. Who's been leading the way for Ipswich?
Yeah, so if you take a look at Ipswich, Louisa Gibbons, we spoke about all day. I mean, 11 points off 50% shooting, that is a pretty decent total. And then we're looking 6 rebounds already. Heading towards the double-double, probably will get it if she keeps up a rebound at this rate. Harriet Wellham, we said she started off slow. She's kind of continued a little bit slow for her standards. 7 points off 30% shooting, but she's also been cleaning up the glass with 6 rebounds, 4 of them being offensive though.
Then that's key, that's big.
Yeah, massive. As we said, those margins are what matter in these games.
And then for Manchester?
So Ellie Costa and Michelle Ortega are both tied at 9 points. Michelle Ortega also 8 rebounds, 7 of them being defensive. But yeah, as we said before, Michelle Ortega has a recent game. She's had much more of an impact than she has previously. Karina Costa's come off the bench with 5 points. Ellie Costa 9 points and 4 rebounds.
Right, so a very exciting first half. The second half is going to be just as exciting, I'm pretty sure. But me and Isha are going to take a quick break for half time, and we'll be back in around 10 minutes time. So make sure to stick around for the second half. welcome back into the Whalley Range Basketball Centre.
Manchester Basketball
Centre in Whalley Range.
Yeah.
As we get ready for the third quarter between Manchester Mystics and Ipswich. Now it's a 25-22 lead for Manchester over Ipswich. Michelle Ortega dropping in a buzzer-beating 3 to end the first half. And it's been a game, as we said, Isha, in the first half, that probably not a lot of people would have expected to see this kind of score.
Yeah, definitely not. I mean, Ipswich, first of all, if you look at the score, 25-22, that is not the typical game for Ipswich. Normally, I mean, by the end of the game, they're normally on 90, in the 80s. They're a high-scoring team, and we spoke about it before. They're an offensive team. You've got a lot of people who can score. You've got Harriet Wellham, Louisa Gibbon, Maddie, basically any of the people out on the court right now can light up and take 20 in the game, but we've not seen that today. Manchester, obviously a very scrappy team. Everyone says it when they come up to Manchester. Defense is tough. It's really scrappy, and it's been the same sort of story here today.
So let's see what the second half brings as the ball's knocked out of bounds, and we'll go with Manchester. And Manchester coming off a loss to Anglia Ruskin last weekend. Ipswich coming off a win to the Reading Rockets as Khalil gets it to Costa. Furtado. Long pass over to Ortega. Costa, 5 seconds on the shot clock. Hits it from behind the arc, and Manchester starting off the third where they left off in the second.
Yeah, big shot there to just kind of set the tone for this quarter.
It's a 6-point Manchester lead. Gibbons working against Furtado. Leach, catch and shoot, nails it. And Keris Leach is such a dangerous shooter from the three-point line as Wellham tries to save the ball in. It'll go Manchester's way. But Keris Leach, we saw her earlier in the season playing at the under-18 National Cup, and she got hot from behind the three-point line in the second half.
Yeah, she's one of them. I mean, when she's hot, she's on it completely. She'll just light you up. She hasn't been too noisy this game so far, but maybe that shot will set her up for the rest of the half.
As Abodo's three's too strong. Ipswich coming back on the attack. Keys has Wellham. Wellham. Three doesn't go. Wormel there for the easy two and a putback. Maddie Wormel just unopposed underneath the basket.
Yeah, in a game like this, I mean, it's 1 point. It's with 1 point in it. No team's had more than a double-digit lead. You can't be letting people wide open under the basket getting the rebound like that.
Costa. Scoop layup is good. And Ellie Costa, she really uses her reach when she's doing her layups. Those scoop layups, she does them all the time and then has that little flick off the glass.
Yeah, they're really tough to defend against as well, because how do you stop it? You're not going to block it realistically. It comes from so far out.
So Ipswich ball, it's a 3-point Manchester lead. Gibbons is doubled out to Wormel. Thought about the shot. Keys is there. Her three. Oh, we got a wedgie. So this is Irene Abodo's chance to shine. Get up there, Irene. She's about to do it. She's about to do it. Oh. It's a little bit like normally higher wedge than normal, isn't it? So we'll let her off.
Yeah, it was a strange one. But trust me, she can do it. I've seen it before. Take my word for it.
I bet Irene is still so young. She's still growing. It won't surprise me when she's touching the rim soon.
Yeah, it really won't.
Abodo in the corner, driving baseline. Ortega picks up the ball. Khalil swings it to Abodo. Corner three, bounces out. And Wormel saves it in. Wellham. Oh, a tough shot from Wellham. Count that, and the foul. Ties a chance to tie the game here at 30. As Harriet Wellham with a fancy footwork gets the shot to go and takes the contact.
Yeah, good footwork from Harriet Wellham there. I mean, just able to take the contact, also force the foul. Now she's at the line. Big shot here.
And Harriet Wellham so far this season, 23.6 points per game, 8.4 rebounds and 4.2 assists. Leads the league in points per game and came into this season as the all-time leading scorer in Division 1 with 2,468 points. And she's nearly 1,000 points ahead of second placed Nadej Talva as she hits the free throw. And it's Ortega out to Costa. Khalil. Costa. And reverse from Aboado. What a shot.
Yeah, that was a lovely finish there from Irene. I mean, great vision from, was it Ellie Costa?
Yes.
Yeah, great court vision from Ellie Costa to find her.
As Maisie Keys ties it at 32. What happened to the free throw?
They shot it and it went in. Yeah.
Did they count it?
Yeah.
Oh.
There was a bit of no, it's fine. There was a bit of they stopped it though briefly. I think a player on the Manchester Mystics got a warning, a technical warning for some language that they use.
In and out for Costa, and Furtado and Wellham both fighting for the jump ball.
Yeah, he spoke about the tough cookies before. Harriet Wellham, also Nat Furtado. She takes some hits for the team. She really does. She just bounces back every time.
So tie game at 32 all. Gibbons has Wellham. Leach, deep three, off the rim, picked up by Gibbons, and another chance for Ipswich. Wellham spins, comes up against Costa. Great defense there from Ellie Costa. Ball's in Ortega's hands as she spins to the basket and will get the foul call, but Ellie Costa at the other end is just throwing herself on the floor, gets the ball, and just absolutely fantastic play.
Yeah, great play. I mean, we've seen a few of those here today. People just putting their bodies on the line for the team. But as we say, we've said this a lot, but in a game like this, when the score's so close, it's them small plays like that that are really going to make the difference.
It definitely is. So Michelle Ortega shooting 2 from the line. She's playing in her first season for the Mystics. Previously played in the WBBL with the Nottingham Wildcats back in the 2014-2015 season. And first free throw hits the back of the rim. Chance for Manchester to go up here, and it won't go, but Abodo tips the ball back to Ortega as Khalil racing down the middle. What a pass out to Costa. Ortega thought about the shot, pulls up from the foul line and hits. And really great ball movement on that possession from Manchester, swinging the ball round to get a good look. As ball's intercepted, picked up by Ellie Costa. Ortega, Idowu cutting in the middle. She's doubled. Khalil's calling for it.
Oh, he probably could have given that there.
But it'll go out of bounds and the way of Ipswich.
See, Manchester, the Mystics are their own biggest enemy really, because they'll do an amazing play. Like the offense before was so good, passing the ball. I mean, everyone touched it. Not that everyone has touched it for it to be good offense, but they were just moving the ball around so well. And they follow it like that where there's people wide open, but instead they're going to drive head down to the basket. No disrespect intended, but that's just, I'm saying what I see. Like catchphrase, say what you see.
As Wellham forces away inside, that just doesn't go. Abodo pulls down the board. Ortega. Oh, what a handoff to Odin Wingy underneath the hoop. I don't even know how she could see the space to get that to her.
Yeah, success on Wingy is another one from Manchester. Just that athleticism. Oh, there's a block from Remy there, big block. Not that she intended to do it, but a big block nevertheless. She's
taken the Nat Furtado approach of I'm going to get in the way and stand in the way, and then comes up with the block and the turnover.
Yeah, it was a great play. But yeah, success on Mwengi, another great athletic player, another young player. When she gets a steal, blink, and she's at the other end already.
She's so fast. She's one of the fastest players I've seen out on court. Aboado with the steal, fighting for it. come away with it. Wellham does, and it's short. And Odin Wingy gets it that time.
Right on cue, but okay, she's did the right thing, slowed it down.
That's a good basketball play there, waiting for the team to catch up. She was outnumbered. As Costa gets it back to Odin Wingy. Idowu against Wormold, 5 seconds on the shot clock. Ortega, ball's on the floor, and a jump ball is called. Stays with Manchester, so 2 seconds on the shot clock. It's going to have to, it's a catch and shoot really, isn't it? You can probably get a pass off or a dribble, but it's got to be a very quick shot.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I can see what they were trying to do there. Got the ball into the post. It's just the cut was a little bit late and it was kind of behind the defense.
So Abodo will inbound.
You can just hear Rob Fairley trying to direct them what to do. Let's see if it's successful.
Ortega, it's going to be a tough shot. Clock's going to run down, and they took too long there to get a shot off. And again, good defense though from Ipswich.
For me personally, I'd say that's more lack of game awareness than good defense. Not going to lie. I mean, jump ball, you should know there was 2 seconds left on the shot clock. In what world are you going to be able to kind of dribble to the basket like that? I mean, we just discussed, is there one dribble maybe at the most and shoot straight away?
Yeah.
2 seconds is not a long time.
It's not at all. As Ipswich look to cut into this lead. Keys from the corner! Nails it, and Maisie Keys brings Ipswich back within 1. Cost that's too long a pass. And this is an interesting position for Manchester here, Isha. So they've got the lead. It's a very slim lead, but with a lot of younger players out there as well, sometimes it's a case of learning to play with a lead, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I was literally about to say before, coming to this quarter, obviously Manchester had the upper hand. It looked more like Manchester's game than Ipswich. We saw a few possessions there, that Remy Adowu block, that success Adam Wengi shot under the basket. It looked like it was Manchester's game as opposed to being Ipswich. Ipswich kind of were rushing shots. They were playing into Manchester's defense. Now it's gone a bit erratic again, but as you said, there's a lot of young players. It's kind of learning how to play with that lead and kind of just game management, recognizing which shots we need, which shots we don't need.
Ortega to Idowu. Idowu against Gibbons. That's a tough shot. Spins in and out. There's been a couple of those today.
Blame the double rims.
As well, finds Wormold in the corner. 3. No good. And Ortega and Manchester really playing with pace here. Odin Wingy won't get there in time to save it. And if Success isn't going to be able to run down fast enough to get that ball, no one is.
Yeah, true that. I mean, no chairs in the way that time at least.
So a substitution for Ipswich. We will see Hannah Gray back into the game. Maddie Wormold heads to the bench. And Wormold with 2 points, 9 rebounds and 3 assists. And Ortega nearly steals the ball away. It's going to stay with Ipswich though, but Ortega, Ellie Costa, sorry, with 3 steals for Manchester so far in the game. And Odin Wingy getting a hand on that, takes the ball away. Racing down the court all the way. Oh, too short underneath the rim. And Keys at the other end runs into Idowu. Gibbons, hands off to Wellham. Wellham with an open lane to the basket.
Big miscommunication there, big miscommunication. I mean, you saw those screen, I don't know what happened, but Irene Abodo and Remy Adowu kind of got stuck there. Help didn't come across quick enough, and then there you go, wide open layup.
And it's Ipswich back on top. Odin Wingy to Ortega, short jumper. It's off. It's great. Backs it out, waits for the team. Gibbons inside. The cut in Gray, and a foul called on Abodo.
I think that makes a third.
And that's 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. It's not too dangerous,
but I'm not gonna. Don't want to speak too soon with Irene Abodo.
So third foul on Irene, and she is going to sit. And Rahana Khalil comes into the game. Michelle Ortega also heading to the bench, and Karina Costa checking in. So Hannah Gray at the line for Ipswich.
Did she make that on the start? Did she make it? Oh, we don't know if that's
second one's good. I think I think everybody looked away. Something. But it's a 2-point Ipswich lead. Just under 2 minutes to play in the third. Costa out to Khalil. Odin Wingy up. Nice hands there.
Yeah, she was quick. It was good to get there. Yeah, I mean you could see what Mystics trying to do again. Finally getting that good ball movement, swinging it around.
So Khalil to inbound, 6 seconds on the shot clock. Idowu. Costa in the corner, has space. High arc in 3. Drains it from the corner, and Manchester go back up by 1.
Yeah, you know she can hit that shot. I mean, from behind the arc, the Costa twins, the pair of them, they can just light you up.
Gibbons into Wellham, inside. Put off by Khalil. Odin Wingy has Costa. Costa going to the basket. And Ellie Costa at the top of the arc, driving inside, finds Odin Wingy, and it'll be a
double dribble.
Actually, you don't see that very often, do you?
I know, yeah. It's interesting. I mean, I don't really see what happened, I'm not going to lie. But we just saw some good game management there from Manchester Mystics. Whereas if we look probably at the start of the season, then fast break, the shot wasn't really on. They probably would have taken it, but we see there, they've seen the defenders, they've slowed it down and taken it back out. In a game like this, when we've kind of got the upper hand, that's what they need to be doing.
As Khalil pushes the ball aside and it stays with Ipswich, but Odin Wingy and Wellham getting on there, and you've been able to see so many times Manchester have just been able to sort of tip the ball as it's being passed inside to Ipswich, tip it, and either knock it out of bounds or force the jump ball.
Yeah, it's just anything to disrupt that offense really, because when it moves like clockwork. So anything you can get your hand on just disrupts it ever so slightly.
Casey, round to Gray. 3 seconds on the shot clock. Gray has it. 1 second, needs to put something up, and that will be a shot clock violation. As you said, I was a bit confused there because Rob Fairley didn't look happy. And
yeah, I think he wanted them to continue play, but for me, it looked like she got the shot off after the buzzer went off, similar to a play that we saw earlier, where it also looked like she got the shot off after the buzzer. But here we see referee Ben Hutchinson coming over the table, discussing it. Let's see what the verdict is.
As we've got a substitution, Holly Ensel back in. Louisa Gibbons heads to the bench for a well-deserved rest. Louisa Gibbons really leading the way for Ipswich on 11 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists and 2 blocks.
Yeah, she's nearing that double-double.
Manchester up 1, Costa against Keys. Costa passes out, Khalil's there. Manchester have time here. Costa thought about the shot, lines it up, won't go, but Karina Costa grabs the rebound.
It looked like Hannah Gray might have got a hand on it there.
Wellham driving inside, kicks it to Keys. Keys, she's got loads of space, unopposed under the basket, and that's a couple of times we've seen that. Manchester caught sleeping under the basket.
Yeah, I feel like that's just a slight bit miscommunication again. Probably could have got a better shot off there, but oh well.
But at the end of the third quarter, it's a 1-point Ipswich lead, 40-39. So that third quarter, Isha, teams having scored almost as many points this quarter as they did in the entire first half.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tale of two halves, as they say.
Is it, or is it a tale of 4 quarters?
Oh,
or
yeah,
4 thirds in a quarter?
Yeah, something like that. I mean, yeah, just Ipswich, as we said, they're a high-scoring team, and when Ipswich did start the scoring, Manchester have done a good job to kind of keep up with it, because as we know, they're not a high-scoring team like Ipswich are, but they managed to keep it up. I still think the game is in Manchester's favour. I mean, it could go either way, but the game hasn't been Ipswich. It's not been the game that they wanted. When they played other teams, They score a lot. I mean, their zone press is quite effective. When they played Reading last week, just to put it bluntly, they blew them out. Yeah, it's not been the similar story here. They would have want to come to Manchester, kind of blown us out as well, but it's just not worked. Manchester have been able to break the press. They've been able to restrict them offensively. And Ipswich, they do look a little bit frustrated. Nick Drain certainly looks a bit frustrated. The players, we'll just see.
So they are actually, we should have mentioned this, we should mention this as well. They're a little bit short-handed today with some players unavailable out on the roster. So playing with 8 players.
The minimum, yeah.
So some players out. No Deanna Carrington, who was always like super effective for them defensively. No Cara Basil, Kaya Bateman, along with some others. But for a team that averaged 80 points a game to be on 40 in the third quarter as well, that's a testament as well to Manchester's defence.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, actually, I have no real else to say on that. Yeah, good job, Manchester Mystics.
And if we look at the quarter breakdown, so an 18-14 run for Ipswich that quarter over Manchester, mirroring what we saw in the first quarter. But the second quarter really stands out, where Manchester kept Ipswich to just 4 points.
Yeah, Manchester scored 11. So hopefully this quarter will mirror the other. Yeah, you know what I mean. You know what I'm trying to say.
We do. So back underway for the fourth quarter. And balls, it's just out of bounds on the line. So Manchester will get another chance here.
Not really sure what happened there.
Wellham kind of caught it, but was like just a foot on the line as she had it. Although not too sure what the referees are discussing. But coming up after this game, the Manchester Mystics will be heading. No, they're staying here. Next weekend they'll be at home against the Brent Bulls, and then they're going to go away to Cobham on the 22nd of February. And that's going to be an interesting one against the Brent Bulls. Another top of the table team. But back on court, it's Idowu. Passes to Costa. Costa, doubled inside, and a travel called.
Yeah, kind of misstep there. There was a gap, but I think she stepped the wrong way.
But they're the kind of plays that the footwork of Ellie Costa, she can step through that. She does that on quite a lot of occasions.
Yeah, somehow she managed to find her way through.
Gray for Ipswich. Ipswich with a 1 point lead and a carry called. And Rahana Khalil, a big part of forcing that. Costa to Aboado. Khalil against Gray. Idowu from the foul line. No good. Ball's out of bounds. Stays Manchester ball. That was a good look from Idowu, though, that foul line jumper. There's been a few of those in the game that Manchester have been able to find. When it's gone into the paint, they've kind of kicked it out a little bit higher.
Yeah, definitely, but it's just being ready to take that shot.
As Aboado, she had space there for the shot, but goes to the basket, rejected by Ensol.
Didn't even have to jump for that one.
Holly Ensol, having previously represented England at the under-16 level. As Wellham inside, no good. And Gray gets the ball, passing into Ensol, and a foul called on Khalil, and that's going to put Holly Ensol at the line. And that's a tough possession for Manchester, isn't it? You stop Ipswich scoring, but then just on the getting the ball back in, it's intercepted.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was kind of roles reversed, because instead of Remy Idowu with the rebound kicking it to, was it Ali or Karina Costa, it was whichever Costa's win it was, kicking it to Remy Idowu. So not the position that they wanted to be in, and then obviously that led to a turnover. Ipswich are now at the line.
So Ensol hits the first. Player that previously played with the Kingston Lions goes 2 of 2 from the line. Another player for Ipswich also playing WEABL for Coppleston. and the under 18s this season. So it's a 3-point Ipswich lead. Costa lines up the three, drains it from the corner, and we have a tie game. As a pass too strong for Ipswich goes out of bounds. Rob Fairley nearly jumped to the rim there, telling his team to get back on defence.
I'm gonna call it now, Kaz. Overtime.
It's a game that looks like it could, you know, the margins are so thin between these two teams.
Yeah, it's just at this point, basketball normally is whoever makes the least mistakes, but this game genuinely will come down to whoever makes the least mistakes.
Costa's shot doesn't go, follows it, gets her own rebound, and it's going to go too high off the backboard. So Keris Leach back into the game. Maisie Keys checks out for Ipswich.
And we spoke earlier about kind of game management and the teams taking the right shots, taking whatever moment. Great offensive rebound, but was that put back the right shot in that moment? Probably not. 14 seconds is a long time to set up another offense. Whichever team, as we said, whichever team makes the least mistakes, choose the right shots, that is going to be the winner for this game. That was a very interesting call. That was a very interesting call.
Yeah, there's a lot of time on the clock, isn't it, to use the clock, to run it down. As a foul's called on Khalil, that's her third. So Rahana Khalil and Irina Bodo both on 3 fouls.
That doesn't work in Manchester's favour.
Casey finds Wellham. Leach. And ball's out of bounds. A couple of plays there for Ipswich with just a bit too much on the pass. Gets the ball back to Manchester. Karina Costa going inside. That's a tough move. Shot bounces out. Ensel with the easy rebound.
Yeah, I mean, Remy Ado did a good job to set the screen up. Karina Costa had the space, but I mean, if Holly Ensel's in your face, you know you're not going to get that shot out. She needs to find the man to kick.
And an offensive foul called on Ipswich as Rahana Khalil takes the charge, puts her body on the line and gets the ball back in Manchester's hands. And I mean, how many times do we see Rahana Khalil do that? Like, she's always taking charges and she's always just making those massive plays for whatever team she's playing on when she's with the Stockport Lapwings and with the Manchester Mystics.
Yeah, I mean, we spoke about Nat Patel getting away. It's a similar sort of thing with Rahana Khalil, just the pair of them. It's just like the intensity that they bring on defense, the way they approach the game, just they're very similar. They're different, but they're similar.
Yeah.
But it's just that about getting in the way, being quick ensal to get in the way, also anticipating where they're going to go. It's just a really great skill to have. Yeah,
absolutely. As Ensel pulls the rebound down and balls in Ipswich's hands. I once scored on Rahana Khalil and I was really happy about it. I did, yeah. It was a very long 2.
When did that happen?
A couple of years ago, playing for the FBA, as Louisa Gibbons puts Ipswich up 2.
The question is, did she score on you?
I don't think I was defending her. I didn't want to defend her. I was switching,
so
switching on the other side.
We can say then, Kaz Bullock versus Rahana Khalil. Kaz Bullock is, yeah. Kaz Bullock's up.
I wasn't attempting to defend Rahana. So ball's out of bounds. It's a 2-point Ipswich lead. And again, Louisa Gibbons has just been so impactful in this game, as we'll see. Kizzy Spence, the spark plug off the bench for Manchester coming into this game.
Yeah, hopefully Kizzy Spence can bring the energy. She always comes off the bench and brings the energy. She hasn't got off the mark today this game yet. Hopefully she can get something going here. We've seen her hit some big shots here this season. See if she can do the same today.
Manchester can't convert on that possession. It's with a chance to increase the lead. Gibbons has the mismatch. She's swarmed by Manchester players and 2 wedgies in a game. I don't think I've ever seen that.
2 high wedgies.
2 high
wedgies.
Well. Come on, Irene. Oh, she's not going to.
Who's going to have a go? Anyone? Oh.
I don't think. I mean, I liked Kizzy's intention there, but I don't think Kizzy was going to be the person to do that.
Yeah, it's the thought that counts, as they say.
So balls with Ipswich.
I was going to say there was a lot of buzzes from the table. Oh, sorry. the wrong team had the ball. There you go.
Because when it's a wedgie, it's a jump. It goes with the jump ball. So,
but they gave it said it was Manchester ball for whatever reason.
Ball's in. It's stolen away by Ortega. Kesey's up ahead. Ortega gonna spin to the basket. Grazes the rim.
Again, we speak about game management.
Wellham pulls the trigger for 3, banks it in, high off the glass. That looked like it wasn't going to go.
Yeah, it looked very off, but I mean, if it goes in, it goes in. 3 points is 3 points.
It doesn't matter how it goes in, so long as it goes in. And a 5-point lead for Ipswich, so their biggest lead since the first half here. And this is the point when you're Manchester and you're talking about game management. You don't want this lead to get too far ahead as they force the turnover, but back at the other end, it's picked up by Kizzy Spence.
Yeah, nasty collision there.
As Furtado and Gibbons kind of ran into each other as they tried to get the ball. So we'll have a timeout called by Rob Fairley for Manchester. And it's a 5-point Ipswich lead. So in this quarter, it's been a 7-3 run for Ipswich so far. Again, just a very low scoring quarter for both teams.
Yeah, I mean, the whole game's not really been an Ipswich-esque game. A lot of people say games, it's been a game of runs. In terms of scoring, no, it hasn't been a game of runs because it's been a low scoring game. But if you're watching the game, it's very evident who's kind of on top in what moments, because there's been a lot of times where Manchester have had the intensity, they've been in the driving seat, Ipswich have been playing into their hands, haven't been able to convert, but you can see on the court, watching the game, you can tell who's kind of on top. Ipswich, personally, I don't think they've had as many of those kind of spells in the game, but they have still managed, obviously they're still on top, but as they say, the score and the stats don't always tell the story, and this game especially applies to that rule, yeah.
And if you're Manchester here now, you don't need to rush anything. You don't need to try and take a 3. You can chip into it, go inside. You don't have to. 5 minutes, 20 seconds left. There's a lot of time still left.
Exactly. I mean, there's been a lot of fast breaks this quarter where, in the game, to be fair, they've done a pretty good job at managing, kind of reading the situation. I remember Success on Wingy did it once. Normally, she's racing to the basket, slows it down, but instead, she slowed it down because she saw the defense was there. This quarter, we've not seen that. We think there's been about 2 or 3 plays where Manchester could have slowed it down, but instead they're going 100 miles an hour at the basket. I mean, yes, fast breaks are good, but in a game like this, realistically, do you want to go 1-on-1 to basket, or do you want to try and run a play and set up a proper offense? Probably the latter.
And you can see Wellham just reading the pass, and then Furtado doing the same for Manchester. So Manchester need to look after the ball here as Ortega has Spence. Spence with the sidestep for 3. Isn't going to drop. It's Wormold that comes up with it for Ipswich. Hands it off to Wellham. Wellham racing to the basket, hangs in the air, count that, and the foul. And Harriet Wellham all of a sudden just turning it up for Ipswich.
Yeah, that is a tough shot. I mean, got some hang time in there. Had 2 defenders on, he still manages to knock that down, but that's Harriet Wellham for you, I guess. Yeah,
she's a really tough scorer, up to 15 points personal, 8 rebounds, 3 assists at the foul line, and gets the free throw, so takes her up to 16, and it's an 8-point lead for Ipswich now, their biggest lead of the game so far. Aboado to Ortega, she's got space for 3, that's too strong. Aboado with the rebound though. Spence. Ortega, again, space from the 3-point line. And that's not going to hit for Manchester, so...
I mean, we're just going to keep talking about, aren't we, game management. Ipswich are playing in a zone. You're settling if you keep settling for that 3-point shot, we know that 3-point shot is available. Manchester needs to start getting them looked inside, try and find Remy Adowo and Nat Furtado in the post, because that's the only way that they're going to get some safe options here.
As Wellham's fouled on the shot. And Harriet Wellham doing what she does in the 4th quarter, goes to the line for 2. And as you said, Isha, so that we know that 3-point shot's there, but is that the best shot for them to take when they've got time? And You know, the threes have been falling for Manchester, but
not as much as they'd like
yeah.
to. 24% is not great, let's be honest.
So Harriet Williams shooting 83.5% from the stripe so far this season. In her second season playing back for Ipswich, as she spent some time in France. She's a player that came up through Ipswich. And an incredible player to have out there. Coach of the under-18 Ipswich women's team. We saw her at the Junior National Cup. Been able to share her experience with the younger players coming through. The biggest lead of the game so far for Ipswich. Spence, Furtado, Costa to Spence, steps back, 3, off the rim. Khalil gets Manchester another chance. As Costa passes back to Spence, and Spence from the baseline. Again, another offensive board for Khalil. Ellie Costa with the short runner.
Finally a breakthrough there for the Mystics. I mean, Ellie Costa going towards the basket. They're the safe options that we need. We don't need to be settling on those 3-point shots on the outside.
As Leach's layup won't go. Good D there from Manchester. Costa racing down, going against Wellham. She's blocked by Wellham from behind. And the timing and the patience there from Harriet Wellham to time that shot, the block on the shot correctly. Gibbons, back to Wellham. Wellham launches from 3, it's no good. Furtado with the board. And risky pass there, but Manchester need to get it over the halfway line, they do. As Costa has Idowu, Furtado driving to the basket against Keys. It's too strong. With 2.5 minutes to play, Maisie Keys can't get that to fall for Ipswich as Furtado tries to save the ball in, and it stays with Ipswich. So substitutions, Holly Ensel back into the game. Kerry Sleech goes to the bench for Ipswich. And Success, Odin Wingy.
What? I'm so confused. What happened? Oh, was there a sub?
It was a sub, yeah. There was a out of bounds and then a sub.
Oh.
Success, Odin Wingy back in, and a foul called. Is it on Rahana Khalil?
6. Oh, Ellie Costa.
Ah. So Louisa Gibbons will be shooting 2. And we've spoken about her a lot, but she's really been the key for Ipswich's game, hasn't she? I mean, Harriet Wellham's obviously started to go off here in the fourth quarter, but Louisa's just been really consistent throughout the game.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Harriet Wellham's gone off in this quarter, but Louisa Gibbons has been scoring throughout. Initially, she scored quite a few. Her rebounding, she's got on 10 rebounds. There you go. She's got the double-double now.
Double-double for Louisa Gibbons, and she's also verbally committed to the University of Vermont in NCAA Division 1 from September, so that's a great step for her.
Yeah, good job.
Spence with a turnaround jumper, and it's Gibbons again with another rebound. Wellham behind the back, spins, it's short, Khalil controls it for Manchester. Spence to Odin Wingy, goes baseline, swings it to Costa, 3's up, and no good. And Manchester maybe running out of time a little bit here.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, at this point, they need the 3-point shot.
As Ensel to the cutting Gibbons, and Louisa Gibbons, shots waved off and a travel called. As Kizzy Spence checks out, and Irene Abodo back into the game. So it's not impossible here, but Manchester are going to need to get something dropping through the net quickly.
Yeah. And play tough defense without fouling, ideally, because they are in team fouls now.
And Ipswich only on 2 team fouls for the quarter. Costa to Furtado. Back to Costa. Looking to go to the basket, Khalil. Furtado, time running down. Furtado with a scoop layup. But ball's going to stay with the Mystics. 1 second on the shot clock, so this has to be a catch and shoot. So this is a time now where you need the clock awareness and you know you need to just pass and get a shot up.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, any one of those 4 players can catch and shoot that and sink it. So let's see who they're going to go for.
And it's into Costa, turns, and it's going to be after the buzzer.
That was, well, yeah, anyway.
Wellham racing up ahead, passes over to Wormold. It felt like a quick 1 second.
Very 1 second. It must have been like the bottom half of the 1 second.
As Wellham's 3 doesn't go, Khalil skies in for the ball, but it's just going to go off her hands and out of bounds. And in the final minute of the game, Ipswich with a 53-44 lead over Manchester. They have the ball from the end line. And Wellham gets it into Gibbons. Back to Wellham. Gibbons swings it round. Keys. Wormold in the corner. Doesn't go, but another chance for Ipswich. Back out to Wellham. Time's on their side here as it's intercepted by Odin Wingy. Costa racing up ahead against their old teammate Keys. Drops it in. And Maisie Keys racing down the court for Ipswich. 24 seconds in the game. Mystics need to get a stop.
Oh, they need to foul.
Wellham. Ipswich playing hot potato with the basketball as Wormold spins, drops it in off the glass, and a timeout called by Mystics coach Rob Fairley. And maybe just a little bit, a run a little bit too late there for Manchester. They're just going to run out of time, unfortunately.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they couldn't find the inside shots when they needed to. Got a few there, but as you said, the time's run out now. They have to be settling for them 3-point shots. They have to find them wide open. But equally, defensively, how long was left in the seconds? There was at least, I think, 7 seconds between the shot and game clock. So, do you want them to run that whole 24 seconds out, or do you want to go and get that ball? I mean, we saw a great attempt from Rahana Khalil to try and get it, but I mean, everyone needs to be doing that. Yeah. Everyone needs to be going after that ball, especially when time's not on your side like that. So.
And, you know, people watching now might think, oh, why is Rob called a timeout now? 7.9 seconds left. You know, Ipswich have it's. I would say it's pretty difficult to come back from 9 points down in 7 seconds. But it's a chance, isn't it, for Manchester to play in a real-life game situation with not a lot of time on the clock. So in a maybe later down the line in the season, we've seen them go to overtime a few times. But when they're in a close game situation, you can practice in a live situation like this.
Yeah, exactly. Every game is learning. I mean, it's one game in the season. We've got maybe like a quarter left of the season now to go. Just because the game looks lost doesn't mean that we just give up on playing basketball. Timeout, there's a lot to learn from. As you said, there's a lot of young players here. Situations like these, the only way you can learn from being in them is being in them. So got to make the most of it whilst you can.
Exactly. As Khalil gets it into Obodo, Khalil gets it back. Costa in the corner, 3, bounces out, won't go in. And Wormold will come down with the rebound. So Ipswich take the win, a hard-fought victory, 55-46 over the Manchester Mystics in a game that pretty much replicated what we saw this time last year when Ipswich came to Manchester. As we said, top of the table Ipswich, Manchester currently in 6th place, but they fought hard against a really tough team.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the Mystics did not make it easy for Ipswich at all. Like, it was not an easy game at any point. Most of the game, it could have gone either way. I mean, Ipswich didn't have the driving seat for the entirety of it. It looked, for me, Manchester defensively did a really good job to restrict Ipswich to only 55 points, which is insane.
They averaged 80. So, you know, a 25 point, no, it's 25 point less than average.
That is insane. To restrict the team to 25 points less than average, as you said, it's full credit to Manchester there for, I mean, putting the gears on defense, being aggressive, getting the stops. Offensively is probably what lost them the game. There was some interesting shots, kind of game management. We spoke about it a lot in this game, and it sounds like I'm just repeating myself, but yeah, that is genuinely what it came down to. There was, I don't want to say the wrong shots, because there's never a wrong shot in basketball, but for the moment, it wasn't exactly the best shot for the team. So a lot to be learned from Manchester. Just because they lost doesn't mean that there's nothing to take from the game. There's a lot to be taken from it, so good job, Manchester.
Yeah, absolutely. So that fourth quarter, 15-7 for Ipswich, and just really, that was the difference. And Harriet Wellham as well, turning on the Jets in the fourth quarter. She finished with 19 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists and a steal. But Louisa Gibbons, as we mentioned, Louisa Gibbons, a huge 15 points, 10 rebounds and 5 assists, along with 3 big blocks for her. Maisie Keys adding in 9 points, 3 rebounds and 3 assists. And for Manchester, leading the way, it was a massive 21 points from Ellie Costa, shooting 54% from 2. 4 rebounds, 2 assists and 3 steals. Michelle Ortega adding in 11 points and 10 rebounds, a double-double for her, along with a steal. And off the bench, Karina Costa, 8 points and 5 rebounds. So Manchester go again next weekend against the Brent Bulls, next Saturday the 15th of February at 5:30 p.m. here at the Manchester Basketball Centre in Whalley Range. You can come down to the game and support the team, or we'll be bringing you that live on the Manchester Magic and Mystics YouTube channel. And then they'll be away to Cobham on the 22nd of February. Ipswich play Cola, second place Cola on the 15th of February. That's at home in Ipswich. And then away against Brent in a National Cup final rematch on the 23rd of February. So the final score from here in Manchester: Ipswich 55, Manchester Mystics 46. From myself, Kaz Bullock, and from Isha Nair, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.